Lucario has always been the comeback king for me, the Rocky Balboa, or need I say, Goku of Smash. He's someone that always does alright when ties are even, but shines in the last moments. Shines when you need his power the most, a character that takes pain for his own strength, and always has a great chance to win at the match at hand. Lucario was very strong in the last game, having good combos, a chargeable projectile, a command grab, great throw combos, and essentially everything you need on a character. But I think he focused on his comeback mechanic a little bit too much, that being his aura. It made his damage output godlike later, but quite awful early on, and this made him play quite strong at times, but oftentimes inconsistent and very frustrating to play. In Ultimate, Lucario still has everything that was good about him from the last game, in addition to a much better range on most of his attacks, and most noticeably, a more normalized aura mechanic at lower percents and at medium percents. He can now just do a lot more damage early on and just kind of work early on, actually kill without way too much percent on him, and just kind of play the game. And while he definitely is a little bit worse for the most part at higher percents than he was in the previous game, he can still get the job done and pull off those pristine plot armor comebacks that we know him for. For more future information on Lucario, his subscribers, I'll be giving any updated information on him and every other character in Smash Ultimate to boot, along with more advanced how-to videos on Lucario as time goes on. Anyways, here I'll be going over the most important things / the best parts about the character. Now, I won't be going over every single part of the character's frame data because that would take way too long, but that will be linked in the description below if you want to read up on it. Anyways, Lucario, as I said, is a character with a little bit of just about everything, but I wanted to talk about first his main mechanic, that being his aura. Now, essentially how this works is that the more damage Lucario has, the more damage and knockback he will deal with all of his attacks. Now, this can get kind of insane, as you can see on this graph, and in the previous game, it was honestly the biggest reason to pick him. As I said, it's still an amazing part about him in Ultimate, but he doesn't have to rely on it as a crutch nearly as much anymore. And this is due to just his massive buffs on every other part of his kit and a lot of his other moves. Now, the most noticeable singular buffs to Lucario have to be to his back air, down air, and smashes. In the last game, these moves were definitely powerful, but kind of tiny and hard to hit, and really the only way you would be hitting these is if you got a good read. In Ultimate, though, these moves keep the majority of their power, but now also have giant aura hitboxes that increase his range by honestly just kind of a dumb amount. They allow him to space a lot more effectively and go in and out a lot easier than before. Speaking of being able to go in and out, Lucario has been given huge buffs to his mobility for, some reason, I guess. He now has one of the highest air speeds in the entire game, and also got a great buff to his dash speed. This means that as Lucario, you can now utilize your new spacing moves to deal a great amount of damage from safety, or use your new speed to get combos to go in instead. Now, the combos I'm talking about here come from his forward air and his neutral air. Now, his forward air has always been a great combo tool in pretty much every game, especially off of up throw, but here it's just a little bit better, and it hits a little bit more consistently, and mainly you can just combo more out of it with a reduced ending lag on every time you use the move. Additionally, though, his neutral air got a lot less lag on it, and as well, always hits twice now, on the front and on the back. This means that if you use neutral air, you can easily drag people down to the ground and then continue your combos from there, or just hit with both parts of neutral air and hit a move after that as a combo. It's always been an alright tool in previous games, but now honestly his neutral air just completely hits it out of the park, and this, in addition to his forward air, makes him a character that can just space really well with his back air and smashes, but as well, it's combo amazingly well with his neutral air and his forward air. Finally, his B moves or special moves have also gotten helped a lot. His recovery goes insanely far, as it always has, especially with aura, but now it has a ton less end lag, making so that every time you use it and actually want to get onto the stage with it, you aren't going to be punished, which is, kind of great. And especially in a game where a lot of characters can edgeguard other characters, having a recovery that can either get you to the ledge immediately or get you directly on the stage and fighting from there, that is very powerful. In addition to this, his counter actually works now in this game and comes out a lot quicker, so you can actually use it to counter people's attacks. Now, it's still not, the best move in the game because counters have always been pretty risky, but it has a lot more use than in the past. Finally, his Force Palm got a much bigger range, and I'm going to say this, like his back air and his smashes, helps him a ton in dealing damage consistently and punishing people that hold shield way too often, because if you walk up and side B with this move at later percents, you're probably going to kill them. As Lucario, I usually recommend to try to play very offensively early on. Try to get as many trades as you can and build a lot of percent on your enemy, but as well, build a decent amount on yourself. At this point, if you're equal or even a little bit behind in percent, that's completely fine, because now you have your aura stacked along with rage, and now it's probably time to move on to the defensive. Here you should be trying to stay alive as much as possible, and as well, go for a lot of reads and godlike spacing to end your opponent's stocks a lot earlier than they can end your stocks because of the rage and the aura. Now, if you survive, try to play defensive and campy and tack on as much damage as possible onto the next stock, and if you happen to die before them, well, try to make a comeback in the next stock. A thing I want to say right here about Lucario that you need to remember about Lucario is that he, more than any other character in the game, has a chance to make a comeback no matter the deficit. Now, of course, you shouldn't expect to win every single game because of this, but yeah, Lucario at high aura is by far, probably in my opinion, the best character in the entire game. And if you can get into your groove later on in the set and start trading a lot with your opponents, you can easily make a stock comeback by 1 or 2, as your attacks will deal almost double as theirs and deal a lot more knockback as well. Just overall, don't give up as this character, and a lot of the times you might have to actually lose a little bit before you start winning, which is a bit counterintuitive, but that's just kind of how he works. Now, a thing a lot of people start doing when you're a high percent and have a lot of aura, and mainly when they're afraid of Lucario's giant bear, forward smash, and aura sphere, will be to start spamming shield. Now, normally you'd think that this would be, kind of putting yourself in a little bit of trouble as you don't have the best approach options in the game, but that would be the case if you didn't have your side B, the force palm. This move just straight up goes through your opponent's shields if you're close up at the melee range, and kills off the side extremely early with aura, probably earlier than it should. In fact, it's so good in tandem with his awesome combo game off his throws that your enemy really has to start worrying about shielding, and in that case you can just start throwing out your spacing moves again, and it just goes on and on and on. It's a lot of spacing and mind games with this character here is Lucario, but he can for sure keep up on the pressure, both on the shield and on the mental state of your opponent. Finally, if you need to, Lucario can just straight up camp out certain characters, mainly ones that are slow or lack a reflector with his aura sphere. And as well, if you're playing versus a campy character themselves, but they don't have a move that can actually go through aura sphere, you can try to outcamp them to force them to approach you, which can also be nice. He can just charge it up again and again and again, flinging it out there, applying a ton of shield pressure and a ton of damage, and Lucario is definitely fast enough to keep avoiding his enemy and then punishing all their whiffed attacks when they actually try to attack him for throwing out the aura sphere. Overall, while it isn't my personal favorite strategy to do a lot, if you need to go for it, it'll oftentimes work and maybe win you quite a few games. One thing that I didn't mention in the beginning of this video is his aura sphere cancel, and mainly the buff to this move, because I feel like it's definitely one thing that you have to spend a decent amount of time learning. Now, essentially how this works is that you use your neutral B, the aura sphere, you hit your opponent with it while charging it, and then you can jump and cancel out of it, and probably hit a move right out of it. Now, in the previous game, you could easily go for an aura sphere, land on the ground, cancel it, and cancel it straight up into an up smash and kill, and that was amazing. But now you can actually do one thing even better than that. You can actually jump out of the aura sphere while hitting the opponent in the air. Now, this means that you can no longer just use it only as a tool to land with, which it was great at and still is great at, but also one to actually just jump off the stage with and edge guard with the active hitbox of the aura sphere. So what you essentially just have to do is hold the neutral B, the aura sphere, off the stage while you're falling, hit the opponent with it, and then jump in neutral air and kill them with that and edge guard them with that. Overall, I'd say that this is one thing that I definitely recommend to learn, and while it will take a lot of time to use, and while it won't be used in every single situation, if you know how to use this and nobody else does in your local area, it's going to up your punish game by such a high amount and 100% be worth your time. Now, another thing that I mentioned often that I'm going to say is also extremely useful here is going to be knowing how to actually use a B reverse. Now, I'll link a guide exactly how to do this in the description below, but the TLDR of this is that if you know how to do this tech, it'll allow you to actually change the direction of your aura sphere and charging it midair, and also allow you to change the direction that you're going to throw your aura sphere midair. This allows you to get a ton of mix-up with this move, and especially a ton of mix-ups when trying to get to the ground if you are getting stuck getting juggled. As well, it gives you just many chances to hit people with the aura sphere when they least expect it, and while it does take a little bit of time to learn, it's another thing that if you can get down, will just up your mobility in such an amount that it's, again, a thing that you probably should focus on learning, probably right after you learn on how to combo and learn how to space. And there you go, these are all the reasons to why you should be maining Lucario. Now, if you have a certain character you want me to cover next, comment hashtag that character name, why you should main, or hashtag the character name, WYSM, and hit the subscribe button / notification bell to see more videos like this when it comes out in the future. Now, otherwise, comment why you want to main Lucario, what your favorite part about him is in this game, or what you like that's been changed about Lucario in this game. As always, guys, thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed. Top of the screen right now is a card for a playlist of more Smash Ultimate videos, specifically a why you should main on Pokemon Trainer, which, might be pretty interested in. Otherwise, you can just check it out for other characters. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this in the future, and as always, guys, thank you all for watching, and have a smashing day.